And good morning, friends. Welcome to The Bright Side. I am Pharmacist Ben. Thanks for joining us. 844-236-6010 is our number. 844-236-6010. If you have questions, comments, success stories you'd like to share, or if you need help with a health challenge, 844-236-6010 is our number. If you want to purchase longevity products, go to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And if you want to sign up to join the Brightside Ben team and start a home-based business, we'd love to have you aboard at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com. You'll find a Join the Team link that you can click on for a one-time fee. You can start a longevity business, start a home-based business, and help change the world at the fundamental level of health and nutrition. Or you can also call 866-735-2470. If you want more info, you can also call 866-735-2470 to purchase longevity products. brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com for longevity products, as well as a Join the Team link, and 866-735-2470 if you want to talk to a real-life person. Our number, 844-236-6010. We're going to talk to Abby Wallach at the bottom of the hour. Abby is an entrepreneur in the skin health business. She's got a podcast, Beauty is Your Business. We're going to talk about the beauty business with Abby Wallach. I've been chatting with Abby now for a few weeks. She's been using our truth treatments, and she knows what she's talking about when it comes to the beauty business. She's going to give us another angle at beauty. The angle I take involves health and involves formulations. Abby is on the business side. We're going to talk about the beauty of business with Abby Wallach at the bottom of the hour, and we'll get your calls. Next segment, 844-236-6010 is our number. So we have been talking about the shrooms, funguses, yeast, the fungal kingdom, which is made up of the molds and the mildews and the yeasts and the mushrooms. When we think about fungus from a healthcare perspective, it's not necessarily in a good way. And this is a vestige of Dr. William Crook's seminal work, which came out in the 1980s, The Yeast Connection. Dr. Crook himself got his information, or started to understand the importance of yeast, from another guy, Dr. Orion Truss, C. Orion Truss, who is really the first guy to articulate this idea that many chronic diseases may be the result of yeast. It was called the yeast hypothesis, and he wrote a couple books back in the late 1970s, The Missing Diagnosis Part 1 and The Missing Diagnosis Part 2. You can still get these books on Amazon, and they are, I got to tell you, they're pretty interesting. His hypothesis is definitely interesting. I believe, personally, that there is a correlation to fungus, and there may be fungal infections that are involved in a lot of chronic diseases. I'm not so sure about the idea of causality. As we've said, correlation is not causality. Just because two things are correlated doesn't imply that there's a causal relationship, but who knows? We don't really know. Maybe it is. According to Dr. Truss, the fact that yeast are universally present in the human body accounts for modern medicine's, quote, neglect in attempting to relate yeast to serious disease, unquote. That's a direct quote from the book, The Missing Diagnosis Part 1. Truss is referring, when he talks about yeast, to Candida albicans. Albicans means white, and Candida infections tend to leave a white kind of topical coating on the tongue or in the mouth. That's thrush. But Dr. Truss was thinking that there were yeast inside the body, systemic yeast. Candida is present normally even in healthy bodies, mostly in the mouth and the skin and the intestines. But when it overgrows, it can cause obvious health issues. And we've known for over a century that thrush is an overgrowth of Candida. Diaper rash also is a Candida infection. Candidiasis, systemic Candida infections, can cause lethargy and fatigue. Genital infections in males and females. When women complain of having a vaginal yeast infection, they're usually referring to Candida, which is a normal constituent of the vaginal ecosystem, fungal ecosystem. Yes, there is a fungal ecosystem, a vaginal fungal ecosystem, and under conditions of imbalance in acid levels and pH levels, when the vaginal secretions become alkaline, Candida can overgrow. Under normal conditions, it's the vaginal secretions are balanced with lactic acid, which is produced from a bacteria called lactobacillus, which lives ordinarily in the female reproductive system. But when the vaginal pH is too alkaline, it's usually normal. Usually vaginal pH is around 4.0 or so. but when it becomes alkaline, Candida can overgrow. That's why women will use boric acid suppositories or vinegar douches. These are recommended for vaginal yeast infections because they restore the pH back to where it needs to be. Probiotics suppositories are sometimes used because those also can restore pH by restoring a healthy bacteria-fungal balance. Antifungals like Monistat can work, but if you use Monistat and use antifungals, you run the risk of throwing off the balance again. So you kill the fungus, now the bacteria can overgrow, and you can end up with a bacterial vaginal infection. This is the problem with drugs. You take a medicine for one thing, and you cause another problem. And that's the big beef I have with the whole pharmaceutical or pharmacomedical strategy of treating illness. You throw things off. You throw off the balance. Yeah, sometimes you can reduce symptoms, and sometimes you can help the body be restored back to balance. But more often than not, when you take a drug, it's going to be very difficult to not throw off the balance somewhere else. If you use boric acid suppositories, that's not necessarily going to happen. If you use Monistat, now you kill the fungus, the bacteria can overgrow. You can detect a bacterial infection. By the way, bacterial vaginal infections are different from fungal vaginal infections. So you got to know what you're dealing with. If you have a bacterial infection, but you treat it like a fungal infection, you're going to make matters worse. You can detect a bacterial vaginal infection by an odor, a fish-like odor. Sometimes a thin gray discharge, grayish, whitish discharge. Yeast infections, fungal infections, will cause exterior redness and inflammation, and there won't be an odor, and there'll be a thicker discharge. So you got to know what you're dealing with. If you're going to treat a vaginal infection, you can make matters worse if you treat it the wrong way. Anyway, Dr. Truss was of the opinion that chronic diseases that involved inflammation were the result of an immune response to to damaged tissue. What causes the damaged tissue? It's some kind of immune stimulant, and he thought that might be Candida. So Candida damaged the tissues. There's an immune response to the damaged tissues. You get inflammation, and that's what Dr. Truss thought was the cause of chronic diseases. According to Dr. Truss, in his book, The Missing Diagnosis, revolutionary, at the time it was revolutionary, he wrote it in the early 1980s, everyone has yeast in their body, most of which, or at least a lot of them, are Candida. Candida it forms the largest species, if you will, I think it's a species, of yeast in the body. And according to Dr. Truss, everybody has anti-Candida antibodies, which means we've all been infected. We all have, according to Dr. Truss, we all have Candida, and our immune systems have responded to that Candida sometime in our life. All right. I am Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. Line's open for you. We'll be talking to Abby Wallach at the bottom of the hour. Okay, we are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. Hang tight if you're on hold. We'll get to you momentarily. Abby Wallach will be with us at the bottom of the hour. No relation to Dr. Wallach, by the way. Abby Wallach is in the beauty business. She is literally in the business of beauty. And we'll talk to her about her podcast, Beauty is Your Business, and the business of being beautiful, which is a multi-billion-dollar business, basically because we all want to be beautiful, and we don't know how to be beautiful. At least physically, we don't know how to be beautiful. That's why you have a skincare business, because most of us aren't satisfied with our skincare products. I noticed this in my pharmacy when I first graduated pharmacy school and went out to work in drugstores. I had a background in creating skincare products. I worked for the Blistex Corporation. I got my internship hours in the Blistex lab. Well, my colleagues in pharmacy school were getting their internship hours. Every pharmacy student needs to have internship hours in the drugstore. All my colleagues and fellow students were getting their internship hours in drugstores. I was getting my internship hours in the Blistex lab, learning how to make Blistex lip medicine, learning how to make shampoos and cold sore medicine and toothpaste and doggy mouthwash and all kinds of interesting solutions, medicinal solutions and topicals. And when I graduated pharmacy school and went out to work in the drugstores, my first job was at Kmart Pharmacy. people would come up to my pharmacy and they'd be like, Ben, nothing's helping my eczema. Nothing helps my dry skin. My skin is drier after I use my moisturizer than before. Nothing's helping my dark spots. And can you help me with my rosacea and my eczema? And there's just a sense of dissatisfaction in skincare. It's still today. Most people are dissatisfied with skincare because skincare doesn't work for the most part. Because when we put our skincare products on, we're basically just slopping stuff on the surface of the skin, not even knowing what we're doing. The key to having healthy skin topically is to be able to address the cell which lives down deep underneath the skin. All disease is cell disease, and all skin health problems are skin cell health problems. It's all about the cell. That's the fundamental idea in health. The fundamental idea and the fundamental missing component in health is we're not addressing the cell. We're addressing the symptom. In medicine, we address the organs, and we address the tissues, and we address the signs of the disease, but we don't address the cell. And the reason we don't address the cell in medicine is because the cell doesn't take medicine. The cell won't take medicine unless it's forced to, unless it's compelled to, either by super high doses or by super high poisons, super potent poisons, I should say. To address the cell, you don't need medicine. You need nutrients. You need a clean environment. You need oxygen. That's all a cell needs. Oxygen, nutrition, and a clean place to do its work. In case of topical or skin health problems, it's the same thing. You can't really put oxygen on the skin topically. You can't really detoxify skin cells topically, but you sure can drive in nutrients. That's why my True Skin Health products feature high concentrations of nutrients. All my formulations, whether I'm formulating a prescription product or formulating for another company or formulating my True Skin Health products, they always have high doses of nutrients that skin cells respond to. And there's not a lot of nutrients either that skin cells respond to topically. It's basically vitamin A in its retinol form, or retinoic acid form if you want a prescription, and it's vitamin C in its fat-soluble form, and then to a lesser extent electrolytes, like fulvic electrolytes. This is what True Treatments is all about. This is what True Skin Health is all about. Anyway, Abby Wallach will be with us at the bottom of the hour, and we'll get your calls here in just a sec. 844-236-6010. I want to read this real quick, and then we'll get your call, so hang on. From the Journal of the American Geriatric Society, older adults prescribed unneeded medicines. Most older adults are taking multiple medications for common age-related illnesses, and often these medicines have, get ready for this, mental side effects. A recent report published in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society showed that people are being prescribed twice as many medicines as they need, folks. If you are taking care of an older person, and you are on multiple medications, one of the simplest, easiest, and fastest ways to improve your health and your longevity as well, and your mental functioning, your cognitive functioning, is to reduce your medications. Personally, and I can't tell you this, but I would say get off of them. But that's between you and your doctor. But at least reduce them. Take the lowest dose possible. And if you're on medications for other medications, you may find that when you lower your dose, you don't have to take the medications for the side effects of the first medications. If you want one single thing, folks, if you are older, you're taking care of an older person, and you want one single thing to improve your health and longevity, reduce your prescription medication and your OTC, your over-the-counter medication as well. All right, 844-236-6010. Let's go to our friend, Truth Raider. Long time no talk to, Truth Raider. Let's get you on here. All right, click this on real quick. What's up, Carl the Truth Raider? Long time no talk to.
Good morning and Happy New Year. Happy Inauguration Day. Let's talk about the vaccine.
Okay, good deal. What do you want to know about What's your take, Carl, the Truth Raider? Did you get vaccinated?
I don't know. No. Never will. Never have.
You're a smart man. You're a smart man. Do you have friends who are lining up or waiting in line to get the vaccine? I do.
Gee, I don't. I don't know anybody yet. Some people will, as far as I know. I said, well, okay. Let me know.
We're going to talk to Judy. We're going to talk to Judy Mikovits again on Friday. By the way, Dr. Mikovits will be on.
Okay. This is not supposed to contain any type of any virus, a dead or attenuated virus. This is supposed to have some type of a system in it where it tricks your immune system to fighting or building up and fighting against whatever's there.
Carl, do you remember the commercial? Do you remember this commercial? It's not nice to fool Mother Nature. Do you remember that? Do you remember that? It's not nice to trick the immune system. It's not nice to trick the body. You don't want to play tricks on your own body. That is just that alone. Just that alone tells you the problem there. And you're right, it does. It tricks the body. It gives it. And let me say this real quick. There is this numbskull doctor that I've been seeing on Facebook named Zog. Do you know who this guy is? Yeah. Just a total numbskull. Yeah. And I was listening to him yesterday talking about how, it doesn't change your DNA. It doesn't change your, anybody who's saying that it changes your DNA, they're lying to you. Well, it doesn't change your DNA. It changes your RNA, okay? That's fine. But you don't want to be messing around with your RNA. You don't want to be messing around with your genetics. That's crazy.
Right. What if it has a side effect where it shuts down your ability to fight off any other illness that comes along?
Nobody knows. Here's your question's well taken, Carl. Nobody knows nothing about nothing with the vaccine. I was talking to a guy. Somebody called me yesterday. Just random. I had a random call yesterday from a guy who wanted to know what I thought about the vaccine. I said, I don't necessarily want to be convincing anybody what to do, but the point is we don't know. We're the first people to get this vaccine are the test. Do you want to be a test? Does anybody out there want to be a test, really, for a vaccine? Maybe it's the best thing in the world, and it's this miracle thing that's going to change our immune system for the better, and it's going to be all wonderful. But we don't know, and I doubt that's going to happen. The bottom line is we don't know, and anybody who voluntarily gets this vaccine is volunteering to be a test. And I don't think that's a great idea, and I certainly don't want to volunteer to be a test. Thank you, Carl. Appreciate you bringing that up. Have a beautiful day, buddy. Take care, man. All right, Abby Wallach coming up in our next segment. We're going to talk about the business of beauty. Okay, we are back on the bright side. I am Pharmacist Ben. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, and 24/7 on the archive pages at benfuchsarchives.com. Thank you to Peter in the UK for setting that one up with a search engine. If you miss a program and you want to review a program, or you can also go to brightsideben.com. We have a search engine up there as well. You can find the longevity products at brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com, and a join the team link that you can click on if you want to sign up to join the Brightside Ben team and start a home-based business. That's brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. We've got blog posts, news stories, videos, lots of great health information on all our websites. And don't forget to take a look at our Truth Skin Health products, all formulated in my compounding pharmacy for healing wounds. Healing wounds equals beauty. That's the missing link in beauty. Is health equals beauty, and skin health equals beautiful skin. Never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, water, silicone, vegetable oil, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth Skin Health products. And that's why we have over 1,500 4- and 5-star reviews, which you could find at truthreviewed.com. Truthtreatments.com for our Truth Skin Health products, and truthreviewed.com for our 1,500 plus 4- and 5-star reviews. All right, I'm looking forward to speaking to our guest today. Abby Wallach is an award-winning beauty and media entrepreneur with over 25 years of experience in the beauty business. She's the co-founder and CEO of Scent Invent Technologies. Scent Invent Technologies, a fragrance and beauty innovation company that is reimagining the way consumers use, love, and wear fragrances. And she's also the CEO and co-creator of SpartaSense. She is a wealth of information. She's got a podcast called Beauty is Your Business, where she interviews industry executives, leaders, and innovators about the beauty landscape. And she is a beautiful and very charismatic woman and has become a friend of mine. I'm honored to welcome to the bright side Abby Wallach. What's up, Abby?
Hey, Ben. How are you? So great to be here. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for being on the bright side. I appreciate it. I think you bring this very interesting take to the world of beauty, and that is you understand the business side of it. But you didn't start off as a beauty person, right? Your main business. You started off as a performer, correct?
No, well, no, not exactly. I was never. I love that. I was never a performer. No. I know it may seem that way, but definitely not. As I'm watching Lady Gaga right now, who is a real performer. You're very funny. No, I always had a dream of being in the beauty industry, and I was very curious about beauty as a child, and I loved sitting at my grandmother's vanity and playing with her makeup and her lotions and potions, and that was my dream to grow up and be an executive, actually, in the beauty and the fragrance category. That was what I had always hoped for. And I started my career when I graduated college. I always loved fashion and beauty and lifestyle and all of that, glamour life, so to speak, until you actually know what the business is about. It's not as glamorous as it always seems. But I fell in love with beauty and fashion, and when I graduated college, I was looking for a job in that area. So I used to pound up and down the street on Madison Avenue and look for opportunities in PR and marketing, and I ended up in a small PR firm. In the beauty and fashion space, and my clients were like Procter & Gamble, the Beauty Care Council, and Oil of Olay, some of the biggest names, Calcaflor, which was a fragrance we launched at Bergdorf Goodman back then. So that was my dream job, and I had hoped to stay in that, but I actually took a segue into entertainment because I couldn't get the job I had always wanted in beauty and fashion, which was to be the head of special events or live events in a big company like a Estee Lauder, L'Oreal, Clarins, one of those very awesome beauty, businesses that made incredible products, distributed them around the world. And I ended up getting that job actually in the entertainment space.
So what did you do for Showtime?
So I was at the PR firm, and then I ended up working for the Moscow Circus. It was a big producer, and that was sort of my segue into entertainment, live event production around the country. Kicked off the Ninja Turtle Rock and Roll Band at Radio City Music Hall. So I got that, but I was still trying to get into beauty. So I just want to preface that by saying, that was my goal, but I didn't get that. I did not reach that goal at that time. What I ended up finding was a job at Showtime Networks, where they brought me in as a senior publicist of special events. And the job was that I would create events around all of the programming. So at the time, Showtime was known for their original programming, their documentaries, children's entertainment, boxing I worked on.
What year are we talking? What years? What years?
Oh, do you really want to date me? This is why you think I'm an actress. No.
Just the decade.
Yeah. 90s.
90s, okay.
90s, early 90s. And this is when Showtime was not, the number one network. We were number two behind HBO. Basic cable was very prominent. It was Viacom had launched MTV and Nickelodeon and VH1. Those were the darlings of Viacom. But I had a great job and a great opportunity. It taught me the business. It was the cable industry, but it bordered on everything in entertainment, production, programming, live events. And it really gave me the insight to that world, and that was really where my career landed, doing what I had wanted to do in beauty and fashion, but ending up in entertainment, media, and that space, which I actually love very much.
So when did you become an entrepreneur?
So that's a great question, because I was created as an entrepreneur. I was a little kid telling my father how to run his business when I was like 7. We owned a sleepaway camp, and they were well-known caterers, as you know, Ben, in the 5 towns and in New York City and the wonderful hotels. I always had this interest, this burning desire and curiosity to learn about business, and I would sit around the dining room table at my grandparents, and I would prefer to listen to all of the men talk about the parties they were throwing, the business aspects of the catering business and the camp and how it would be run. I actually had a great grandmother who was very entrepreneurial. I was surrounded by a lot of entrepreneurial women. So it wasn't a choice. It was a passion and a dream that I've always had since I'm a little girl, and with big ideas, lots of curiosity, and always asking questions. But I will say that as an entrepreneurial spirit, I knew that I had to work in the world to get the skills that I needed to do whatever I would do in my life, right? So, and you can only learn by doing. You can only learn by people older than you sharing what they know. So, at the very beginning, starting with even typing. I know that sounds so silly today, but kids today, they're on a computer all day. When I was younger, I didn't even know how to type when I was younger, because why would I, right? So I stuck myself in typing school and then in the computer. So, there are all these skills that are critical to learn, whether you're working for a corporation, whether you're working for yourself, that teach you along the way how to grow and evolve as an executive or an entrepreneur. But I've always been an entrepreneur. As much as I've tried to sometimes go back into corporate roles or be in a different space, it's just not the way I live in the world.
So from Showtime is non-entrepreneurial. So how do you jump from that to becoming an entrepreneur? And you are an entrepreneur of some renown, actually, Entrepreneur of the Week, etc. We got to take a commercial break, but I want to talk about that, and then I want to get into Scent Invent. Scent Event? Is that how you say it? Scent Event.
Scent Invent.
Scent Invent. Scent
We're
Invent.
reinventing scent.
I'm looking forward to hearing about that as well. All right, we got Abby Wallach on with us. We're talking entrepreneurship as well as Scent Invent, her disruption in the fragrance business. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We'll be back with more of Abby Wallach on the bright side right after this. Okay, we are back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're talking to Abby Wallach, business entrepreneur. And hi, Abby. I just want to give you a little plug here. Your podcast, Beauty is Your Business, and you got all kinds of cool guests on here. And you've got an interesting take on the business of beauty, which a lot of folks don't really understand how much goes into the business side of beauty and the business side of being beautiful. So tell us a little bit about how you segged from being a worker bee, I guess, at Showtime, into being an entrepreneur and having your own business.
Yeah, so that's a great question. So just to take you back on the journey, I ended up going out to Hollywood and working for the Nederlanders. So I was around, a lot of very beautiful, cool people and working in entertainment. But I always had this burning desire, as I shared earlier, to be in the beauty industry. So when I left Showtime and the Nederlanders, I saw an opportunity to start developing my own TV shows. And the very first show that I created with my partner at the time, Melissa Fedor, she was an InStyle magazine beauty editor. It was a makeover show. And the makeover show was called Personal Style, and it was how to make over any aspect of your life. And basically what we did was we created the first makeover show that you could put on the Internet. And I worked with all of these amazing, amazing celebrity experts from Frederick Fekkai to Bobby Brown to Olivia Chantecaille, through Melissa's deep connections in the space. And the idea was that we would put this show on the Internet. We would do makeovers, and then you could click to buy every product and service that the experts would talk about. And this is way back early 2000. So that was a business that I launched, never really took off. And then fast forward a few years later, I launched a brand on the Internet called Beautiful Stranger, which was where we would go out on the street, literally style stalk strangers, ask them everything they were using, wearing, and loving, and then make them shoppable through a little video. This is very early on. Any true entrepreneurial venture, any innovation usually takes 7 to 10 years to get to market, and then that's when the work begins. So it's a process. But through that process, I worked with everybody in beauty and fashion and lifestyle, and all the designers and CEOs. And it just was like the culmination of all those years of wanting to be back in beauty and fashion. That was sort of the dream that I had. And then fast forward, did that for many, many, many years, was an early pioneer in digital media, figuring out how to get content on the Internet, how to make it shoppable, how to turn an idea into a reality, and how to build it and scale it to millions and millions of eyeballs through distribution on the Internet. So that was a business that I ran for a long time. It was self-funded. Then we had investors. The beauty of that business was that we worked with all of these incredible people, which gave me deeper insight into the industry and the idea of wanting to actually have my own brand and have my own business. So that was sort of the segue. And then I had met another woman through business who was at Clarins and Prada, Lancome. We always wanted to work together. Oh, and by the way, Ben, I'm married to a plastic surgeon. So on the flip side, I am very deep in the beauty industry on so many levels, scientifically, academically, because of who he is, what he shares with me. He's the real deal in plastic surgery, Stephen Wallach. He's amazing. You can check him out. He publishes. He has an office in New York City. But so it's all around me, which is very interesting, which is rare, right? So it's in my home, it's in my work life, it's in my personal life on different levels, and there's different layers. But I always had that dream of having product, making a product, and I loved fragrance. I love fragrance so much that my entire life people would ask me what I love.
So that's perfect.
They would ask me what fragrance I was wearing. They would always stop me.
So what's the invention? What's the disruption? What sense of Scent Invent, and why is it a disruption?
So Scent Invent is an innovation company that is rethinking new forms, new functions to a new level of fantasy and fragrance. So we just launched over the summer. We have two aspects of this business. The first aspect is our B2B business, where we are powering up our innovations to sell them to the beauty and fragrance industry. And then we have our business-to-consumer aspect of the business, where we have our own brand, and that brand is called Sparty Scents. And that's a young, hip, cool brand that focuses on, right now we have one product in the market. It's a fragrance cooler. We have 3 scents. We have our Dance Sparty, our Love Sparty, and our Spring Sparty. And basically what we're doing with that brand is we're building content and community around commerce to disrupt the future of fragrance for that next generation. So everything we do is alcohol-free, no parabens, no phthalates. It's clean. It's not natural, but it's clean. There's no oil. So we've really created this new form of fragrance that speaks to that next generation, while we're also powering up our B2B business, where we will be selling our innovations to the industry with our partner, Worldwide Packaging Beauty. So we have a licensing deal where they will be selling and powering up all of those amazing fragrances that the world loves to come in our new innovations. So it's a very interesting business model. It's something that we've been working on for about 7-8 years, and now it's starting to move to market and come to fruition. So it's very, very exciting.
What entrepreneurial skills that you've accumulated did you bring to bear to start this? Tell us some of the things that you learned as an entrepreneur for the past couple of decades that you brought to bear to develop to grow Scent Invent.
You know, that's such a good question, because when you really are an entrepreneur, first of all, you're usually doing it on your own finances. So you have to be extremely nimble. You have to be really quick to pivot if things aren't going the way you hope. You have to do your due diligence like nobody's business, because you're on the hook for everything, right? You really have to surround yourself with the right partners, the right team, the right people. The right advisors. I have the most amazing board of advisors from the industry, just really top of the line. And I think that, doing that, I can tell you who they are, like Pamela Baxter, who was president of LVMH, Christian Dior Couture, Kathy O'Brien, who was at Lauder for years.
These are the people we work with? These are people who are involved with
These are people who are on my advisory board. So they're amazing experts, and they know this business so well, right? So you surround yourself with people who know more than you. Debbie Murtha, she was the executive vice president at Macy's Fragrance, and Wendy Gottfried.
These are people who advise you. These are people who advise you.
Yeah, these are people who advise me. These people are in my everyday life, and they're all women. They're amazing. Wow. And Wendy Gottfried, who was like the vice president of Saks, like fashion, fragrance. And then my partner, Caroline, who's fantastic and has a whole skincare background and worked at Clarins and Prada and Lancome. So, being an entrepreneur, it takes a village, right? It takes a village to do anything. It's never about one person. It's about a team. It's about a vision. I'm the leader of the team. Like, I make it happen. It's my
but you
voice
can't do it
out
alone.
there. No, absolutely not. And then you need, in this business, you need your R&D team.
Yeah.
Because that's product development, and you need your marketing. It always starts with the vision, right? The vision, the strategic mission, and where it's going to go. But again, it's always about the people that you can get. My gift is to be able to take the best of everything and serve it out to the world. That's what I do. I'm an executive producer.
That's great. I love it. You're an executive producer for your business. We're going to run out of time, but I want to ask you this because this is really important. As I'm an entrepreneur myself, as you know. Where does failure fit into this?
Failure. Well, okay, so I could say that I fail every day. If I stop to think about how many times I failed, I wouldn't do what I do. So, in today's world, you want to fail forward fast, but if you have any kind of mission that's going to make a mark in the world, it's going to take time. The two most valuable resources an entrepreneur has are their time, right? The time spent, and their vision and their mission to never give up. So, this is not a choice. This is a life. It's a lifestyle. And I just said to my family the other day, this is my last big startup. This is it. And they all looked at me and they said, yeah, right. Yeah,
that's great.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I totally know what you're talking about.
Right. And failure, look, life, we fail. We have disappointments. It's how you deal with the failure and how you get back up and go again, right?
I love it.
Everything's a learning experience.
Yeah, get knocked down.
I met you.
That's great. Knock down twice, get up 3 times, as they say.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Abby, thank you so much. I had so much more I want to talk to you about. The podcast is Beauty is Your Business, website abbywallach.com, and her disruption in the fragrance business, Scent Invent. Thanks for being on the bright side, Abby. Hey, will you hang on the line? I want to talk to you real quick. Don't go away, okay?
Of course.
All right.
Thank you.
Abby Wallach, abbywallach.com, CEO of Scent Invent Technologies, and her podcast is Beauty is Your Business. Thanks for listening to The Bright Side, friends. I am Pharmacist Ben. Have a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to you later, folks. Bye for now.